unmute and ask. I'll just share the screen. Can I start the class? Isn't almost?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So first we'll do the recap of the session 3. In the last class, we discussed about the circuits and the circuits diagram, how to draw the circuit diagram and what are the benefit of drawing diagram. And then we learned about series circuit and the parallel circuit. Series circuit resistance, equivalent resistance, you already know, that is R1 plus R2 plus R3 till Rn, whatever will the resistance of the series circuit, you will add up.
Pankudi,
Yes, ma'am.
please, sorry for interrupting. Can you please switch on your video option?
Ma'am, actually my internet connection is very bad. So if I switch on, my audio will not be that much good. It will be cut.
But actually it should be, yeah? Please make sure.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Sure. Okay, now the second one is parallel circuits. We learned about the voltage across and the equivalent resistance will be equal to 1 by R equal by R plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 till 1 by Rn. So whatever will be the resistance, reciprocals will add up together. Then we learned about ammeter connected in series and voltmeter connected in parallel. So this is the way circuits are being drawn. Now the next today what we are going to learn is about the electric power. So what is the power? Electric power is a rate at which the electric work is to be done or rate at which electric energy is consumed by. Okay. And for that reason, its unit is watt. And for that reason, we can write electric power as P equal to W by T, because we say electric power is a rate of work done. So W is work done and T is the time taken. So time always will take in seconds and work always will take in joules. So the power unit will be equal to joule per second, or we can say 1 watt equal to 1 joule per second. And one more thing, the kilo means 1000. So 1 kilowatt is equal to 1000 watts. And one formula is P equal to W by T. Other formula we can derive by and formula that we have learned earlier. That is, we already know that V equal to W by Q. That is, V equal to work upon charge. And also we know I equal to Q by T. That is, I equal to charge upon time, which can be written as Q equal to I into T. From the above equation, we can find the work. Work equals to V into Q. And again, replacing the Q value from the above equation, I equal to, so W is written as V into I into T. Yes. The same thing I can implement in the power formula. Numerator becomes V into I into T divided by T. T and T are cancelled up, and what we are left with is V into I. So by that, we can derive the formula of power in terms of voltage and current also. So if we have voltage and current only, we can find the power of the circuit. So this is the way we have derived the formula of this thing. Derivation is not much important. You should know the formulas and you should know how we have got it. So one formula is power equal to W by T. One is V into I. Again, I can write power in terms of only voltage and resistance or only in current and resistance. Okay. So applying the Ohm's law in this V into I can, by applying Ohm's law, I can write I as V by R only. So if I write I equal to V by R only, then it becomes V square by R. Yes. Similarly, if I replace V as I into R, so it becomes I square R. So applying the Ohm's law and replacing V and I respectively, I can get both the formulas, V square by R or I square R. So these three formulas you should be knowing: V square by R, I square R, and V into I. So whatever is given to you, you will apply that. If voltage and resistance is given to you, you will apply V square by R. If current and resistance is given to you, you will apply I square R. If voltage and current is given to you, you will apply V into I. So is this in clear? These three formulas?
Ma'am, I have one doubt. Can I ask?
Yes, ask.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, so like you said, these three formulas. So depending on what is given, we should use the formula.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you can use any of them.
The three, any of the
Okay,
three.
okay.
So whatever is given to you, voltage and resistance is given to you, current is not given. So you cannot use V into I, obviously. So you will be using V square by R. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Now coming to the question.
Ma'am,
Yes. Any doubt?
ma'am, for this thing, power is equal to voltage current. We can use
Yes.
it by deriving it from joules of heating, right?
Yes, yes. We'll come to that part
Like
also. It is
this
joules.
heat is equal to VIT. So power is equal.
From power, we are going to derive the heat
We can use
formula.
that, right?
Okay, so yes, we can. That is heat formula. V into T. If we multiply time with the power, then it comes heat or the energy. Okay, so we'll be deriving from this power formula the heat formula, Joule's law of heating. So we'll be coming to that thing also later on in this session. Okay, so this is being derived from this only. Whatever I have talked about, V equal to W by Q and I equal to Q by T only. V into I is being derived. Okay. Coming to the next question. Electric bulb is connected to 220 volts generator. If current drawn by the bulb is 0.5 amperes, find its power. So power will be, I have current, I have voltage. So obviously I'm going to apply the formula V into I. Yes. So I'm getting
110 watts.
110 watts. Okay. Now the similarly next question. You have two electric lamps having a rating of 40 watts, 220 volts and 60 watts, 220 volts. Which of two has higher resistance? Okay. If these two lamps are connected to a source of 220 volts, which will glow brighter? So what is given to you for each of the lamp? For example, lamp A is 40 watts at 220 volts. Yes. So power and voltage is given to me. In the second lamp also power
The
and voltage.
resistance will be higher on the 40 watt bulb and the 60 watt one will glow brighter.
60 watt will go brighter. Okay. So we can apply, they're asking us to find the resistance. Yes, I know power and voltage. So obviously I'm going to apply which formula? P is equal to V square by R. Because only in this formula, I know power, I know voltage, but I don't know resistance. So I'm going to apply this formula P equal to V square by R V square by P. So in both the cases,
So the 40 volt bulb will be having more resistance, one.
40 watt bulb will be having more
and
resistance.
60 watt will glow brighter.
Yes, resistance.
Why
If
would
your
the 60 volt go brighter? I mean, if the 40 volt means more energy is not being more.
But the current
No.
because listen to me, because the resistance is current flowing through that bulb will be more. If more current, it will glow more. Here talking about resistance and the current, because resistance is hindrance to the flow of current. Lamp B. Yes.
Sorry. So, like the first which it worked on resistance, right? Resistance is high enough, then the filament starts exhausting like energy, and that energy is not really, it's released in light and heat. That resistance, more energy is released. That means more light energy. Or am I wrong?
That is the case. More
Yeah, that's
resistance,
correct,
more heat energy. But the current flow also will be considered.
All right.
The having more or more less resistance, so and more current, that will glow brighter as compared to the previous bulb. Okay, so that heat effect will not consider that much. Getting me? Because we have always been knowing that resistance hinders to the flow of current. More of the energy will be there. Yes or no?
So the modern bulbs work on some other something.
Answer to a question why allow heaters
Yeah.
instead of conductors.
It works on the
Heating effect.
Heating
Yes.
effect. Alloys can pass more current, so there's more heat.
Got this question, everyone?
Yes.
Probably.
Wherever we want heating effect more, there we will use high resistance substances. But wherever we want more light or glowing more, we'll be using less resistance substances, because current is more in case of less resistance. Getting me? Here we want more light energy. It should glow more. I'm not dealing with heat energy.
We
Okay,
can
wherever I want heat energy, I'll be dealing with high resistance, more heat is used in heating devices. Okay.
Alright.
And conductors I'll use because conductors have less resistance, more current will flow and they will glow more. Okay. So in this case, we'll find the resistance respected lamps, and lamp B will glow more as less resistance is there. Coming to the next one. Electric bulb rated 220 volts and 100 watts. When it's operated on 110 volts, power consumed will be how much? Okay, so in the first case, voltage is given and power is given. In the second case, voltage is different. You have to find the power. So in this case, what you're going to find first?
Resistance.
Resistance. Why you're going to find resistance? Can't I find current? Because power and voltage is given to me. Power equal to V into I also. I can find current also. Why I will find only resistance here?
Resistance is same for both of them.
Yes, because I'm using the same device. Electric bulb is same. Current will be dependent on voltage. If the voltage I'm changing, current will also change. Because by Ohm's law, V is proportional to I. But same device means same resistance. Resistance will never change. It's a constant for same devices. If I'm changing the device, resistance will change. So in such cases, when they are changing the voltage, if they're asking like voltage has been changed, you will always find the resistance first and then apply in the second case. You will never find current because current is dependent on voltage. It will change according to voltage, but resistance will be same always. So I'll apply the formula P equal to V square by R, and R is V square by P. So I'm getting R as 484 ohms. Yes. So same resistance will be in the second case also. Same resistance I'm going to apply in the power formula again, V square by R, but here now V is equal to 110 volts. Okay. So I'm getting 25 watts as the power. Clear? Is this question clear to everyone? So
Yes,
whenever three cases are given to you, voltage has been changed in the second case, you will first find the resistance from the first case, then apply that resistance in the second case, find the power in the second case accordingly. Okay. Now coming to the next one is heat and energy. So as you have already learned, whenever there is current, there is a heat energy being produced. Yes. So we are going to now derive the formula of Joule's law of heating. So we have taken a circuit, we have taken a resistance, voltmeter, ammeter, and a battery and a switch in a circuit. And it works on a phenomena because electric energy gets converted into heat energy when any of the current flows through the resistance. For example, RO. Okay. So we have considered a circuit here. Next, we are going to apply this power supplied by the source will be how much? P is equal to VI. We have already learned in the previous slides. P equal to VI. Then the energy supplied to the circuit in the source in time T will be equal to P into T. We know always energy for the energy will multiply power into time, which comes out to be V into I into T. Similarly, heat dissipated and the energy will be same. Heat produced, that is equal to E is also equal to V into I into T, and H is equal to V into I into T. So heat produced or energy dissipated also, they all will be equal. Now if we apply Ohm's law here, we are getting I square RT. Okay, because already we have learned V into I is how much? V into I is there. Power is power we can replace as I square R also. Yes. So we can write H as I square RT also. And I square RT, H equal to I square RT is actually known as Joule's law of heating. Okay. So getting this, I have not done anything. I have just multiplied time with the power factor. Whenever you multiply time with the power thing, you will get the heat energy produced or the energy dissipated in the circuit. Okay, so which is equal to I square RT, because I have replaced VI by RA square R. Is this in clear? Another way I can write H as you can just write in the statement form also, Joule's law of heating. It is asked in the question like statement form. Just the formula only you can write in the statement form. Like according to Joule's law of heating, heat produced in resistance is directly proportional to square of current, directly proportional to the resistance, and directly proportional to the time. So I just write the formula in form of equation statement. Okay. Now applications already you have learned in the previous standards also, where we apply the heating effect. For example, we apply in all the heating devices. For example, electric iron, room heaters, water heaters, geysers and all. Then we apply in the electric bulbs and lamps the heating effect. And electric fuels also we apply, because if more of the current is passing through, electric fuels will heat up and melt. So these are the three applications that we apply the heating effect of current.
So basically, we just have to add the variable T in the power formula.
Yes, only multiply time with the power formula, you will get heating effect. So I square RT is generally Joule's law of heating. But for example, I is not given to you, only V and R is given to you. You can apply V square by R into T also. Getting me?
Yeah, ma'am.
What is the power formula? V square by R. So V square by R into T also you can apply as heat formula. But whenever it's asked Joule's law of heating is I square RT only, not V square R by T. Okay.
All right, all right.
Only these this formula is Joule's law of heating. Other formula of power also you can apply, like V into I into T, V square by R into T, or I square RT. So all these three formulas you can apply as we learned for the power. Just multiply T with the power formula. For example, question, electric iron of resistance 20 ohms takes a current of 5 amperes. Calculate the heat of 3 seconds. Okay. So resistance is given to me, current is given to me, heat I have to calculate. So how will I calculate? I'll simply apply Joule's law of heating, that is I square RT. I square RT. So I'm getting 15,000 joules. I can write as 15 kilojoules also, because I have taken 1000 as kilo here. So 15 kilojoule or 15,000 joules, I'm getting the answer. So whenever you're taking time in seconds, you will have the heat in terms of joules. Next one is electric motor takes 5 ampere from 220 volts line. Motor and the energy consumed 2. So time is given here in hours. So I cannot apply hours to get joules. I will convert this hour into seconds first and then apply in the formula. So what is given to me? Current is given to me and voltage is given to me. Power is given to me. I can calculate from voltage and current the power. Power comes out to be 100 watts, and this power can energy. Is it clear? So 2 hours I have converted into seconds. Then I have multiplied with the power and I am getting 7,920 kilojoules as the energy or the heat dissipated. If I don't convert this hour into seconds, the unit of the energy will change here. Unit comes out to be kilowatt hour here. Okay. So I have changed the power also into kilowatt, and time is also in hours. So there are two units of energy. One is kilojoule, one is joules, and one is watt hour. Getting me? So whenever you're taking time, you will always get the energy or the heat in terms of joules. You can change it into kilojoules also. If the 1000 is coming, you can change it into kilojoules also. So you're getting energy or heat in joules. But if you're taking time in hours, you are getting in watt hour. Watt hour. And here I have changed it into kilowatt hour because this is a commercial unit of electricity. Whenever you get the electricity bill in your domestic houses, then you get in 1 unit is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. So whenever I have to calculate the amount or the rupees of the electricity bill, I will always take the energy in kilowatt hour. I'll not take in joules there. because 1 unit is always equal to 1 kilowatt hour. So I'll convert the energy or the heat into kilowatt hour. So I'll be taking power in kilowatt and time in hours. Any doubt in this question? These two questions, anyone?
Ma'am, I want to ask something, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, yeah, so will you send us these things on
Yes, yes,
NetGenie
sure.
or something?
I
You'll send
have
it, right?
already. Yes, I have
Oh, you
already
sent
shared
already.
the
Okay.
I have earlier also I have sent 3 online sessions, whatever sessions I'm going to take.
Okay.
So I'm going to send you the notes. I'll convert this into PDF and send this document to you all. So you can just revise it once again. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, that's what the doubt I had, because for revision it's better, right? So, okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
is this point clear to you? What you need to take whenever time is given in seconds, you will take energy or the heat in joules. Whenever time you're taking in hours, you will take in watt hour. Okay, so please be careful with the this thing units. Next is 220 joules of heat is produced each second in 8 ohm resistor. Find the potential difference across the resistor. So here the energy or the heat is already given to you as 220 joules. And each second means time is also given to you as 1 second. And R is given to you as 8 ohms. What you have to find? Potential difference. Yes. So I have to find V, whereas I have given H, T and R. So which formula I'm going to apply here? Can I apply Joule's law of heating here?
V square by R into T.
Yes, we are going to apply V square by R into T because we have to find V here. We don't have to find current. So I'm not going to apply Joule's law of heating. I'm going to apply V square by R into T. Okay, because current I don't want to find. So V square comes out to be H into R divided by T, and it comes to as 1760 volts. 1760, and then I'll do the square root of it. I'm going to get 42 volts. Okay, so first find V square, find the square root of this term, you'll getting 42 volts as the answer. So in this you have to judge which formula you're going to apply. Okay.
42 is
doubt?
approx, right?
Yes, 42. No, it's accurate. Now coming to the next one. Electric heater draws a current of 10 amperes from a 220 volt supply. What is the cost of using heater 5 hours per day for 30 days if the cost of 1 unit is 0.5? Here, the cost of 1 unit is given to you. I told you whenever you're finding the cost, you'll always find the energy or the heat in kilowatt hour because 1 unit is given to you as kilowatt hour only. Okay. Power equal to V into I. So I'm going to apply the formula. Current is given to me as 10 amperes and the voltage is given to me as 220 volts. So power comes out to be 2200 watts. Yes. Now electricity consumption in a day will be how much? Power into time. So 5 hours per day they are saying. So 5 hours I'll multiply with this power. When I multiply, I'm getting 11,000 watts, which I can write as 11 kilowatt hour per day also. Yes?
The answer rupees 825.
Yes, yes. Answer is
Is the
825.
answer rupees 825?
Yes, yes. Correct. The answer is 825. Number of days, then I'm going to multiply the number of days also 30 into this thing. Rate is
Okay.
2.5. I'm going to multiply 2.5 also. So in this thing, everything has to be multiplied. The number of hours working, number of days, and the rate. But be sure that you are taking power or the heat in kilowatt hour. You're taking time in hours and power in kilowatt. Okay, because 1 unit is kilowatt hour. Is this thing clear? Don't take time in seconds. If you're taking time in seconds here, your energy will come in joules. So in such questions, you are going to take time always in hours, only in such questions. Otherwise, in every numerical, in every other question, you're going to take time in seconds. But only in such question, because 1 unit is equal to kilowatt hour, you're going to take time in hours. And power in kilowatt. You're going to divide the watt by 1000, you're going to get kilowatt hour. Getting me? Is this question clear? This you have done in the earlier grade also, I think so. Similar questions. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now coming to the overload, short circuit and fuse. The last topic is overload, short circuit and fuse. This also you know already. What do you mean by overload? Overload is when, for example, there is a electricity line and it's drawing more current at its rated for. That means overload is there. Okay, so more current is being drawn by the circuit than it's designed for. That means it has been overloaded.
And why does overload happen?
Because there is some rating for the circuit that maximum current a circuit can draw or maximum current a wire can draw. Okay.
Yeah, so why does it go over that?
You use
Because-
everything
Because
when it's
for
like,
a single socket, if many socket, so single socket, I'll apply many heavy devices together and switch it on. So what will happen? They will draw more current, and a single line now
Okay.
will draw the more current. Yes, but that
Yeah, I
wire is
got it.
not designed for it. Getting it?
Okay. Yeah.
So at the same time, you're switching on the very heavy devices from the same line. So sometimes what happens? The fuse breaks or MCB trips down. Yes. So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
maybe this has happened to many of the houses like that. So this is overload only.
Okay.
Overload can result in short circuit.
Ma'am,
Okay,
what is the effects of overload, ma'am?
Effects of overload is short circuit. Your electric appliance will burst or it will not function, or your electric wire will melt from where the current is being drawn. Okay, so maybe you'll get a spark at the wire end, or you get a spark at the socket end, or your electric equipment will not function. It will get destroyed. So there are many effects of it. For that reason, we have been using fuse. One second. So for that reason, we have been using fuse. Okay, because we don't want our electric equipment to get damaged. So whenever overload is occurring, whenever current increases, overload occurs whenever the current increases. Whenever the current increases, what happens? The fuse is made up of low melting point device. Yes. So when the high current is passing through the fuse, it will melt first and it will break the circuit. At that point itself, the high current will not go to the equipment, and my equipment or my electrical appliance will be saved. What will be affected? Only the fuse will be affected. Fuse will break. Okay, getting this point? From the short circuit, and overload can result into short circuit, and from the short circuit, my electric appliance can be destroyed. So to avoid it, I'm using a fuse as a safety device. So whenever high amount of current is flowing through the fuse, then fuse will melt first because it is made up of low melting point.
Ma'am,
Wire.
so what on
Yes.
what factor does it depend that a device or an appliance is of high value? It say if the voltage
Depending upon that, for example, like refrigerators and geysers and all, they require high power.
that
Okay,
is resistance.
high
If the
power. They
resistance
want
is
high
high,
power. They want high power. That means more current they want to be drawn. That is high.
ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, for the 220 volt battery, we can't draw the lines, right? I mean, it has a different symbol, right? The AC, this thing,
220.
the volt. It's like
AC DC. Yes.
there's a circle inside which there's a circle inside it, and there's some curved line. So if we don't draw that, will they cut marks?
No. Don't draw that because that has not been taught you in this grade. Okay. Don't draw that thing.
so
Okay,
ma'am,
because only simple whenever they ask you to draw the battery, you just draw that lines one symbol, because that symbol AC DC we have not segregated in this standard. You've been studying about in 11th and 12th standard. Getting me? So don't go into AC and
Yes,
DC
ma'am.
thing. Okay. Yes, what doubt you want to
Okay,
ask in this overload, short circuit and fuse?
so basically what I was asking, or I think I figured it out. Every appliance is high rated because it has more resistance. Because if it has more resistance, it will require more current from the same amount of voltage. So say if the voltage is 100, right? and we have a geyser, and we have a bulb. The geyser will have more demand for the current because it has more resistance. So the resistance depend the amount that appliance wants to appliance has the demand for a current depends on the resistance of the appliance.
Yes. Hmm.
All right then. Well, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So more resistance
V
that
is equal to IR.
what?
Like V is equal to IR. So
V is equal to IR,
V
and
is
if the voltage
there.
is same, because
So
they are drawing the current from the same voltage. Okay. But no, resistance is less. That means current will be more.
yeah, that's what I want.
Hmm. Because resistance is equal to V by I. Yes. Voltage is same.
Yes.
That means if the resistance is low, it will draw more amount of current. That is, it is high rated. If the resistance is more, it will draw less amount of current. Okay. So like that we will segregate. And one more thing, how you got the fuse, how we use the fuse, and for what purpose we use the fuse?
Yes, ma'am. I got it.
Yes. Got this thing?
Ma'am, like I just wanted to ask one more thing, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes.
Like the wires, ma'am, like green wire, like the earth wire and the black one, and
Hmm.
then the red wire and all. Like, will they ask us questions based on that?
Yes, you will have the
So
question like for example, they question those, so they depending upon earthing also there are some questions, and they will be asking you like why switch is connected to only live wire, not to neutral and not to earth wire. So these question also I'm going to do in the next sessions. Okay. Short circuit generally occur when live wire interacts with any of the wires. For example, if live wires interacts with the neutral wire, or the live wire interacts with the earth wire, because the current is being transferred from the live wire only. Because we treat as live wire as a positive terminal. Okay. We'll be dealing with these wires question and the earthing questions also in the next session. I'm going to tell you these questions also. Just ask me out if you have in all these three things. Or what is overload, and why we use fuse works. Whenever high amount of current is flowing through, the fuse will melt and break the circuit, and the high amount of current will not flow to the electric appliance, and my electric appliance will be saved. So it is known as a safety device also. Okay. And fuse wire works on the principle of heating effect of current, because it is made up of low melting wire. Whenever high amount of current is flowing through it, it will heat up and melt up more faster as compared to the wire it's flowing through or the appliance.
Ma'am,
Okay.
the fuse wire has a lower melting point than the
Yes,
conducting
lower melting
wire.
point than compared to the device. So we keep low melting point only because we want at lower temperature only it should melt. So whenever current is more, heat is produced. So we want at that heat only it should melt. Whenever
So,
the current is more than the rating, some amount of heat will be produced. Yes. So we want it to be melted at that point itself. So we keep it at low melting point only.
so it's like an indicator that too much current is passing
Yes.
through.
So as you see MCB is being tripped off. That means overload has been occurred. We have to just uplift the MCB again. Earlier fuse was used. Okay. So in that case, we have to replace the fuse again and again. The overload occurs because the wire will, and we cannot use that fuse. Nowadays, we have breaker, that is MCBs we are using in our homes. So it will trip down, and we have to raise it again to make the circuit. Getting me? So things same only. Fuse we used in nowadays we are using miniature circuit breaker, that is known as MCBs. Same function as fuse they do. They will break the circuit by coming down whenever overload is there, whenever the high current is being drawn, and we have to make the circuit by lifting them up again. Now we come based on fuse. You can get the numericals also. For example, can you run an electric geyser with a power rating of 2 kilowatts, 220 volts on a 5 ampere line? Okay. So that means they have given the rating of the line. Rating of the line is what? 5 ampere. That means maximum current a line can draw is 5 ampere. It cannot draw more current than that. And they're asking, can we run a geyser on this line? And the geyser power and voltage is given to you. Yes. So what you will going to find here?
Power.
Power is already given to you, kilowatt, 2 kilowatt. Voltage is also given to you.
Now we are
Q-
going to find the power which they're asking for. And if
No,
it's
we have
they are
We'll
saying we have an electric geyser whose rating is, whose power is 2 kilowatts and voltage is 220 volts. Yes. And the rating of the line they have given as 5 ampere. That means my wire or my line can draw maximum current of 5 ampere only, not more than that. Okay. So, and can I run that electric geyser on that wire of 5 ampere line? This
Ma'am,
is the
so
question.
what we have to do? Ma'am, so what we have to do is you have to multiply 220 with 5 ampere to get
No,
the.
no,
Divided by
no.
1000.
You have
We
to
don't have
find
to
the
do that.
current
We have
drawn
to
by the
divide-
electric geyser.
we have to divide the power by the voltage and see what is required, what how much current is required to run that appliance. And if that current which we find is more than 5 ampere, then we can't run the geyser.
Yes, correct. So here what is given to me? Power and the voltage is given. So I'm going to find a current drawn by the geyser. Okay, how much current it requires to function? Yes. So P equal to VI or I equal to P by V. So here by mistake that by is not there. So it's P divided by P here. I voltage. So it's coming to as 909 amperes. That means electric geyser require more amount of current, but my line is of 5 ampere only. That means I cannot run electric geyser on this 5 ampere of line. Getting this thing? Because the current rating of the line is given to me as 5 amperes. And the current drawn by the geyser from the above rating I'm getting as 9.09 amperes, which is obviously more than 5 amperes. That means I cannot run that geyser on that line. Otherwise, it will get overloaded. Okay, so the role of overloading is here because the wire maximum rating is 5 ampere only. If it draws more current, if I run the geyser on it, the wire will melt because the rating is 5 ampere only. It cannot draw more than that. If more current I'm allowing to pass through that wire, the wire will not function. It will melt after some time. Is this question clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the similar question next is domestic circuit has a 5 ampere fuse. How many bulbs of 100 watts 220 volts rating can be safely used on this line? Okay. So circuit is given to you as voltage is given to you as 220 volts and has a 5 ampere fuse. Fuse current rating is given to you as 5 amperes. Okay. That means after 5 ampere, if the current increases above 5 ampere, it will melt. Okay. So whenever the rating of the device or the line is given to you, that means it is a maximum rating of it. Maximum current can be drawn by that fuse or the line is this. How many bulbs? Bulb power and voltage is given to you. How many bulbs of the same power and voltage I can apply on this line so that it should
11.
not get overloaded?
11,
Yes,
like if you take 5 ampere current.
Yes.
Around
11, approximately 11.1 is coming. So 11 bulbs I can use here. So how will I find similar? Power of the bulb is given to me. Voltage of the bulb is given to me. So I'll find the current. Current drawn by one bulb is 0.45 amperes. Maximum I can go to 5 ampere current. Yes. So I'll divide 5 ampere by 0.45. So here I'm getting 11.1. That means 11 bulbs I can use safely on this line without getting overload. Is this thing clear, everyone? These two questions? Anybody has doubt in these two questions, can please ask. No doubt? So whenever rating of line or a fuse is given to you, you don't have to use that in the formula. You just have to compare. That is the maximum rating given to you. Okay.